The Vivo X-Note in 2024. Is this device worth picking up? Absolutely. I'm telling you right now, you should definitely check this device out. Seriously. Now, I've had this now for, I think, about almost a year. This phone, look, I got the S23 Ultra. I love that phone. But still, this is my favorite phone to use. I'm going to tell you why. First, the build quality is excellent. Gorilla Glass Victus on the front and the back. No scratches whatsoever. No micro scratches. Nothing. Okay? It came with a pre-installed screen protector, but I took it off. Build quality just excellent. Feels real good. Now, it could be a little slippery if you have dry hands, in the back. But it's, it has a frosted back. Love this design. You got an alert slider here on the side like you do on the OnePlus. You got an IR blaster, universal remote control. Absolutely love that. The biometrics on this phone is excellent. Now, let me say this. Let me just say this. The face unlock is the way face unlock is supposed to be. See that? It's crazy. And I'm behind the camera, and this thing opens up every single time. The biometrics on this phone is incredible. You have an ultrasonic fingerprint sensor, not an optical, ultrasonic, just like you do on the S23 Ultra. So it's very, very secure. So biometrics on this device is awesome. No issues with the biometrics at all. Does have an always on display. Only problem I have with the always on display is that you can't get any type of notifications except text messages or a missed phone call. But you can see your battery percentage, the date, the day, stuff like that. Your normal stuff, but you just can't get all your notifications up here like you would on a Samsung device. But other than that, not a big deal. I mean, this is not my main phone, so it's not a big deal for me. This phone is unlocked for all carriers. Now, I have used this on T-Mobile and AT&T. So it works on both, and it should work on Verizon as well because it says unlocked for all carriers. Now, if it doesn't work on Verizon, okay, it is what it is. Now, I don't know if there is a global ROM for this. I have the Chinese ROM, so I don't know. You can, look into that. But I have the Chinese ROM. Not a big deal. Now, you do get a bunch of Chinese notifications that are kind of annoying, but, like I said, you get used to it. And like I said before, this is not my main phone, so no big deal. The display, 1700 nits peak brightness. This display is beautiful. Either 1500 or 1700, I forget. Anyway, besides that, the screen is beautiful. It's a Quad HD plus display. It's beautiful, 120 hertz, 7 inches. This is the biggest phone that I have out of all the phones that I have. 7 inches. Huge, okay? And not only tall, but it's wide. Check this out. Now, as big as this S23 is, and it's big, you can see that the X-Note is still bigger. It's taller and it's wider. So these are the two largest phones that I have, okay? But this is still bigger. Now, the thing that I do like a little bit better about the S23 Ultra is that it's thicker. This phone is kind of thin. I don't really like thin phones, honestly. I mean, because they're not the most comfortable to hold in the hand. But, I mean, it is comfortable, but I don't know. I don't feel like I'm holding on to much. I mean, it's just a big, giant phone with a big, giant display, which I love. But I like to have a little thickness, a little heft to my device. This phone actually has a little more weight to it than this one. But still, the display is beautiful, as you can see. Now, also, IP68 dust and water resistant. Not 67, not 65, 68. Okay? So, no issues when it comes to water resistance or dust resistance. You get in the max. Okay? All right. The battery life on this phone is awesome. It's incredible. Seriously. Now, I had this with me this morning when I went to work. So I took it off the charger about 5 a.m. That's when I headed out to work. So I used the phone on my way to work in the car, you know, listening to YouTube videos, things like that. So that was probably about 20 minutes. All right, so I took it, took it, put it in my pocket, went on, into work. I didn't really use it on work because I'm only there for a few hours in the morning. But I got back into the car, heading home. Of course, I put it back on my little stand, and it was listening, to YouTube videos on the way home. Over 4.5 hours, I was still at 100% battery life. That is crazy. This S23 ain't doing it. Okay, there ain't no Samsung device going to do that. 4.5 hours, still at 100%. So the standby time is ridiculous. Also, keep in mind, I can get 2 full days of battery life with this phone. That's with moderate to heavy usage. I'm not penny pinching. I'm not, turning the display down. The display is at 100% brightness. I'm using 120 hertz. I'm using Quad HD. Okay, I'm using whatever features that's on here. I'm using them. I don't, do battery tips and tricks. I don't do none of that stuff. I use the phone the way, I want to use it, and I mean full blast. The battery life on this is incredible. The battery life on here is definitely killing the battery life on the S23 Ultra. And by far, this is the best battery life that I've ever gotten out of a phone from Samsung since the Note 4 before the update ruined it. So this is by far the best. But the Vivo is still killing Samsung when it comes to battery life. Now, Samsung's display does look a little bit better than the Vivo. Okay, a little bit. I'll say this, it's a lot more saturated. And I do like that saturated, punchy look. As you can see, I mean, you can really see it. You could clearly see it. This is why I'm going to put a case back on here, because I have a hard time handling phones with no case. You can see how much more punchy the colors are on the Samsung. But trust me when I tell you, this display is no slouch. Okay? It's definitely not. Trust me. Especially when you're viewing content. So hold on, let me put this case back on, because I can't. I have a hard time handling these devices with no case, because even though they have frosted backs, they can still be slippery, and I can handle them a lot better with a case. Now I can hold it and not worry about dropping it. Okay, so the display on here is great. Now, like I said, I was talking about the battery life, 2 full days. You're not getting that. At least I'm not getting that from this. I can get through a full day, and I can get into the next day, but I'm going to have to charge. 2 full days with the Vivo X-Note. Now, this is also the type of phone you don't have to charge overnight, because you got 80-watt wired charger. Something you do not get on the S23 Ultra. Now, this is not a comparison, but I just have to have this here because this is one of my favorite devices. Okay, so I had to put this here for a reason, all right? You're only getting 45. You're getting 80, so I can charge this phone in 30 minutes. So when I get up, plug it up, go to the bathroom, do what I need to do, by the time I get dressed, and it usually takes me about 45 minutes to an hour before I head out to work, this is easily charged. This takes me well over an hour to fully charge at 45 watts, and that's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous for something that's calling itself an Ultra. This is not even calling itself an Ultra phone, but has Ultra battery charging speeds. And also, keep in mind, 50-watt wireless charger. Now, I know everybody's not into wireless charging. I am. I love wireless charging. It's convenient. I love just to take my phone, put it up on the stand, let it charge, take it off, don't have to unplug or plug something up. I can fully charge this device in 45 minutes with the wireless charging, because it has 50 watts, unlike Samsung, which is calling itself an Ultra. Again, 15 watts, which is a joke. That is just pathetic. 80-watt wired, 50-watt wireless. Also, 10-watt reverse wireless charging, which is faster than the S23 Ultra, which is only 4.5. 10 watts. So I love that. So you're getting a full package here, okay? The speakers on here, they're decent. I will admit they're not as good as the S23 Ultra. but you'll still enjoy them. They have good sound. They're just not quite as loud as the S23 Ultra. All right, the button placement on this device is excellent. Nice and low. See where my thumb, this is my thumb naturally rests. There's no hand gymnastics. And the volume rockers are just above it. So the button placement is also excellent as well. Y'all just don't understand. When it comes to performance, this phone is so smooth. This phone is smoother than the S23 Ultra. When it comes to performance, now I would say when it comes to speed, they're probably both even when it comes to speed, but fluidity, smoothness, this kills the S23 Ultra. This phone is just not consistently smooth. It's just not. Okay? When I'm viewing content on here, you got this big giant display, and it both of them got a big giant display. It's like holding a small TV in your hand. You gotta love that. You gotta love that. I'm telling y'all, this is a phone you definitely should consider, and it's gonna get Android 15. Okay, I've had no issues. The cameras on here are incredible, especially the night photos and photos that you take, like say in a restaurant in a dim lighting. Incredible. I remember I was at had a birthday party for my mom last year, and we was in this restaurant, and the lighting was pretty poor, but I wanted to take some pictures of my mom, and I took them. It was crazy how incredible the pictures came out. And my family, when I showed them the photos, they were amazing. Like, what kind of phone is that? The Vivo X-Note. Never heard of it. I said, I know. Because the thing that's bad about, Xiaomi, Vivo, Redmi, Oppo, a lot of these other companies, they just, you can't get your phones through a carrier in this country. And that's unfortunate because the American public is missing out on a whole lot of great devices. Because most people get their phones through a carrier. Now, I don't. I buy my phones outright. I'm just fortunate to be able to do that. But I know most people go through the carrier. And it's a shame that you can't get phones like this through your carrier. Because in a lot of ways, this phone is better than the S23, than Samsung devices or OnePlus or Google or Apple. In a lot of cases, I'm telling you, it's just, y'all missing out. And it's a shame because this phone is such a beast of a device. You got these ultra fast charging speeds with the battery. You get an incredible battery life, incredible cameras, incredible performance, incredible biometrics. You're getting the full package. There's IP68 water and dust resistance, IR blaster, alert slider, ultrasonic fingerprint sensor. You're getting the full package with this device. I'm telling you. So, would I suggest this phone? Yes. Now, you might not like the Chinese ROM. Look, maybe you could flash the global ROM on here. I don't know. I never flashed any type of ROM, but I'm sure you might be able to do that. But I'm telling you, this phone, this is still my favorite phone. Don't get me wrong. I love the S23 Ultra. I do. This is my main phone. This is where my main number is in. This is my secondary phone. But phones that I actually enjoy using, this is my favorite phone that I enjoy using because the battery life is so great. The biometrics is flawless. The performance is buttery smooth. Even when I'm scrolling, everything is super smooth. Let me show you real quick. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on camera. It's fast and it's just super smooth. I'm telling you, it scrolls much faster and smoother than my Samsung. It just does. The one thing I'll say Samsung got on this phone, two things that, in my opinion, definitely the cameras are good, but these cameras are better, is the dual stereo speakers are better. I'll give Samsung that, and the display's a little bit better. That's it. Okay. Now I know this is, got good lock and it's very customizable. That's true. This is very customizable as well. And I did a video, deep into the settings. This thing has crazy settings and features and things you could do that the Samsung cannot do. Now, Do I prefer One UI? Yes, I do prefer One UI. That's my favorite skin. But other than that, this is my phone. And I love how big this thing is. 7 inches. This thing is huge. Now, some people say, oh, it needs an S Pen. No, I don't. I don't even use the S Pen barely on my S23 Ultra, so that's not an issue. But I'm telling y'all, this phone, if you get this, if you could afford to get this, you will not be disappointed. I'm telling you, you will not. People are missing out on so many great devices in this country because you can't get them through a carrier, you know, and like I said, most people go through the carrier to get their devices. But if you can get this, you know, without going, you know, if you could just get this period, you know, maybe through eBay, because Amazon don't have this phone. So if you can get it on eBay, get it brand new or get it renewed, you should get it. Seriously. I promise you, you will not be disappointed at all. This phone is the real deal. It has the full package of full-fledged, you know, flagship in every sense of the word. The Vivo X-Note. All right, so thank you guys for taking the time to view this content. I do appreciate it. Hope everybody out there staying safe, staying well, and I'll check you guys out in the next one. Peace.